Minecraft is the game where anything is possible. Or is it? Welcome back, my fellow gamers. I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, and this is Top 10 Gaming, the channel where we make you question life with our quick and zinging intros. But hopefully, we make you question life in a good and fun way. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the most impossibly possible things that you can do in Minecraft, and all the hundreds of hours and steps that go into some of these things. Join me as we count down the top 10 hardest things to do in Minecraft, and prepare to have your minds blown by the amount of time and effort that goes into some of these crazy difficult tasks. All right, now let's get counting. Number 10, collecting music discs. In order to collect music discs, you need to be patient and consistent. 2 of them can be found randomly in chests, whereas the other discs, the only way for you to get them is by tricking a skeleton into killing a creeper for you, and hoping that they drop as a result. One of the best ways to get music discs is to build your own little music disc trap or farm, where you put skeletons and creepers together. Even this is hard though. Some people have built a trap for creepers and then tried to lure their skeleton there during the day, keeping them enclosed and safe so that they don't light on fire. Even from there though, it's not easy, as you need to then manipulate that skeleton into trying to hit you, missing and hitting your creepers, without them actually seeing you and exploding. Pretty intense. Easier said than done. Should be the motto of this entire video. Number 9, building a zoo. One of the most challenging things I've seen players talk about is building a zoo in Minecraft, especially depending on which creatures and monsters you are hoping to shepherd in there. For example, trying to capture anything in the Nether is tricky, as you have to capture them and usher them back through the portal, all while avoiding getting burnt to a crisp and avoiding having the rest of the critters in your zoo burnt to a crisp as well. I think the fact that this task is so difficult just kind of goes to show how maybe zoos just aren't a great idea for animals, especially ghasts who, just want to be free and shoot fireballs. That's all they want. And before we move on to this next point, just a quick reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you love Minecraft as much as we do. Number 8, stop playing. One of the hardest things for someone who is addicted to Minecraft is to simply stop playing the game. Because there's just so much to do in the world, it becomes quite easy to become enthralled and obsessed with focusing on task after task. Oh, I'll stop and I'll finish after this build. Or, after I find this item. It might be something you keep finding yourself saying and then not really doing on repeat. If you're like me too, and you have a tendency to play multiple games or even, perhaps on multiple servers at once, you might also be afraid to stop playing for fear that you'll forget where you were at or what you were doing when you come back. I'm usually playing anywhere from 7 to 10 games at once myself, rotating through them, and for the open world, sandbox, or even farming simulator games, this can make remembering what in the heck I was in the middle of doing a challenge. So quitting can also come with that fear or that anxiety of losing your place or forgetting what you wanted to do next, especially if you were in the middle of something when you saved and quit. Number 7, getting enchanted golden apples. If you have the patience for this one, you can do it, but it might be kinda exhausting. Enchanted golden apples, sometimes referred to as notch or god apples, used to be something you could actually craft in the game, but the ability to craft them using the recipe was removed. Now, the only way to find them is through chests, with the highest drop rate for enchanted apples being 6.5%, which doesn't sound too bad until you realize that that is the rate for bastion remnants, which usually only has 1 treasure chest, at most 2 in there. Most people suggest dungeons is actually the best place to search for enchanted apples, as you have a 3.1% chance to get them, and chests in dungeons are more plentiful. I would say dungeons or mines. Probably your best bets, but still you're gonna maybe be waiting for a while. Number 6, building castles. While this isn't really hard if you actually have the creative mind or time, for many, the idea of building a castle in the game or any other kind of large structure can be a daunting task. It's definitely not something every Minecraft player is into, but the amazing creative structures that players are capable of building can still be enjoyed by all, as they often get shown off. Not only do you need the patience and the time to create massive structures, but to build really elaborate and mind-boggling ones like Grain's mansion on the Hermitcraft 7 server, you also need a certain attention to detail. And even if you feel like you don't have the time or energy, this is something you can enjoy through other people sharing their talents with you via their creations. Of course, if you do have the time, but maybe you just don't have the creative energy, checking out other people's work is a surefire way to get yourself inspired. The crazy thing about Minecraft is that if you have the time to put into stuff, really almost anything is possible at the end of the day in the game. Just some things are harder or more time consuming than others. I think it's kind of one of the coolest things about Minecraft personally. Number 5, creating a charged creeper farm. I mean, creating a farm for any kind of creature in Minecraft is no small feat, but this one that YouTuber ETA740 shares with viewers is pretty intense. It probably took quite a while to make and some experimental time trying to make sure that it was fully operational and that all the parts of it worked. This farm mines creepers and then puts them in the perfect spot to allow them to become charged by lightning before sending them off to the nether. Charged creepers have an even more intense explosion than a regular creeper and can also be used to get mob heads. So if you really want some mob heads, that's basically what this farm is about. Number 4, building automated farms on farms. Interlocking, interconnected farms. Setting up any kind of automated farm or farming device is difficult and definitely a chore. A lot of work goes into the automated farms that you can see, and while many people love the idea of infinite resources, it's definitely easier said than done. We all dream of infinite resources, but actually attaining them and building the automated farming devices or entire farm to get there is quite a lot of work, especially if you're trying to build an infinite level of automated devices that interconnect with infinite resources being shoveled elsewhere to make infinite number of other resources. It can get pretty intricate and pretty ludicrous to think about, let alone to build. Number 3, building a Netherite Beacon. Building a Netherite Beacon is just crazy when you contemplate the amount of time and mind-numbing effort you have to put into just getting all that netherite. In order to build a Netherite Beacon, as WadZ showed us, you need over 5,000 pieces of netherite scrap. That is a lot of ancient debris that you need to collect. To build the actual netherite ingots, you also need not only nether scrap and then of course ancient debris, but tons of gold ingots besides. To find all the ancient debris and materials needed, it took WadZ between 200 to 300 hours and over about 6 months to build this Netherite Beacon. That is a crazy amount of time and a lot of extended and tedious effort. I can't even believe it. I was like, wow, that's a lot of time to put into one video. Number 2, building entire worlds. If you haven't already noticed, building tends to be something that is the hardest and also the most rewarding, probably because it's what Minecraft is all about. Building and crafting, I suppose, which shouldn't surprise many of you because, you know, that's kind of the whole thing that you do in the game. And because it is so open, you can pretty much create anything, including entire maps and worlds, like for example, all of Westeros. The Game of Thrones inspired server is so huge, it even has its own website, and yeah, you yourself can jump in and explore the 7 kingdoms. Building entire worlds requires so much effort and attention to detail when it comes to design. It even requires a bit of architectural know-how, at least when it comes to the design element, but fortunately not so much when it comes to, you know, the real-world physics element of architecture. If there is a fictional place or real-world place that you have always wanted to visit, odds are good someone has built a server around it and you can visit or at least view it yourself from the comfort of your own home, which is really all we can do right now, so you know, not so bad. Such a safe way to travel and see the world in Minecraft. Number 1, how did we get here? When it comes to advancements, not all of them are super challenging, but some of these hidden ones are, especially considering you can't actually see what needs to be done in order to unlock them. One of the hardest among the hidden ones is how did we get here? Which even by its name kind of showcases just how challenging of a what advancement it's going to be. You can only unlock this advancement by having all effects applied to you at the same time. You have to have 26 effects to be specific going on at once, and some of them require you to be in vastly different areas in order to actually activate them. Although you can have more non-qualifying effects applied as well, if you need to do so for some reason to get there. Though that sounds like it would actually make this challenge even more exhausting and harder. 26 is a lot, and what's more, you don't even know to begin with what those effects are unless you did the research beforehand. Thankfully, we also have the internet, so at least you, in theory, have the help of the entire Minecraft gaming and streaming community, should you need to help you figure out how to accomplish this seemingly impossible task. And you're gonna need it. You're gonna at least need to look up what those effects are before you try it. What are some of the hardest things you have seen accomplished? What are some hard tasks that you yourself would love to accomplish? What is the craziest thing you've seen someone do in Minecraft? Let us know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments from one of our latest videos, Top 10 Henry Stickmin Creepypastas Part 3. I cannot believe we are on Part 3, friends. So many creepypastas. Determined Human comments, okay, out of all the ones I've heard so far, the one about the protagonist turning into Henry was probably the best. Well, thank you very much. But also, I just need to add that I love your username, Determined Human, so great. Phone Mo Monster shares, if I made one, it would probably be about Henry's mind after all the things that he's endured. Wow. Yeah, that sounds like, there's a lot going on there. You could definitely write a creepypasta about that. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew! Ha 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 ha!